Elaine Caldwell had made her disapproval clear from the very beginning. Jade was different, not what she imagined for her son. She didn't say the word black, but she didn't have to. Her smiles were tight. Her compliments, distant. Her attempts to break them up had been subtle at first, then not at all. Ethan Caldwell and Jade Foster had met in conference and stayed conversing, and it grew from normal friendship conversation to intimate, and now they want to get married, but Ethan's mother was not quite pleased about it. But she had no option, as Ethan will not be manipulated by his mother, believe. He had chosen Jade anyway. Loudly. Unapologetically. And so, Elaine had settled into a bitter, simmering silence. Until now. Today, Elaine had offered, no, insisted, on accompanying Jade for wedding dress shopping. It was meant to be a gesture of support. But Jade knew it for what it was: control. One last attempt to remind her who she believed had the upper hand. Jade smoothed a hand down the sleeve of her blouse and inhaled deeply. This wasn't her first time in designer boutiques. It wasn't even her fifth. But today wasn't about clothes. It was about holding her dignity in a room where someone hoped she'd leave it behind. Elaine was already waiting by the car, arms folded, lips pursed. "You're late," she said flatly as Jade stepped out. "I am sorry, but I said noon," Jade replied, her voice warm but steady. Elaine gave her a look, the kind that measured and judged in the same breath. She got into the car without a word. The ride was quiet. Jade stared out the window at the moving city, her reflection staring back, poised, composed, unreadable. But inside, something fluttered. She wasn't afraid. But she was tired. Tired of shrinking herself to make someone else feel bigger. The boutique stood quietly on the corner of the avenue, sleek glass, gold trimmings, and the kind of stillness that made you instinctively lower your voice. It didn't scream for attention. It simply was. Elaine stepped out of the car and stared up at it, frowning. "This place looks expensive." Jade gave a small, polite nod. "It's one of my favorites. They do beautiful work." Elaine's eyes narrowed slightly. Must be nice." Inside, the boutique was bathed in soft light, the air fragrant with something floral and expensive. There was a hush to the space, like walking into a place where time slowed down. Mannequins stood poised in hand-sewn gowns, and the floor gleamed beneath their feet. Before they could go far, a tall figure emerged from the back, sharp suit, warm smile. "Miss Jade," the manager greeted, eyes lighting up. "You didn't let us know you'd be stopping by today." Jade smiled gently. It was a bit spontaneous. "I'm here with my fiancé's mother to look at some dresses." The manager turned to Elaine with practiced elegance. "Mrs. Caldwell," Elaine answered, watching them both carefully, wondering how many times she has come there to waste her son money for them to be that familiar with her. "A pleasure, Mrs. Caldwell," the manager said. "Please, come with me. I'll have refreshments brought to the suite." Elaine followed stiffly. "You come here often?" she asked to confirm her suspicion. "Sometimes," Jade replied lightly. "When I need something special." They were guided into a private suite lined with velvet chairs and golden hangers. A silver tray was soon placed before them. Sparkling water, delicate fruit tarts, fresh berries. Elaine glanced at it all, then leaned toward Jade. "All this for a dress? It's a bit much, don't you think?" Jade's voice stayed kind. "It's just how they treat clients here. They like to make the experience comfortable." Elaine made a small noise of disapproval and turned toward a rack being wheeled in by the manager. Rows of gowns, each more elegant than the last. "These are new arrivals," the manager said. "We selected some based on Miss Jade's usual preferences." Elaine raised an eyebrow. "Usual preferences?" The manager simply smiled. Elaine reached for a modest ivory dress. "This one is nice. Simple. And probably more within reason." She held it up for Jade. "Don't you think this is more sensible?" Jade didn't reject it outright. She reached out, touched the fabric. "It's pretty." Then her eyes moved to another gown, a soft blush piece with delicate embroidery and a graceful neckline. "I'd like to try this one too," she said gently. Elaine's voice sharpened just a little. "These dresses don't exactly come cheap. Maybe it's best to keep things practical." Jade turned to her with that same calm. "I understand. I'm just seeing what feels right." There was no malice in her words, just a steady self-assurance that didn't need to raise its voice. She stood and took the selected gowns with her, disappearing into the changing room. Elaine sank into a velvet chair and looked around again. Something wasn't quite adding up. The way the staff treated Jade, it wasn't the treatment you gave to someone spending another person's money. It was warmer, familiar, respectful. She had assumed this whole outing would be a lesson in restraint. But slowly, and almost uncomfortably, she realized she might be the one getting schooled. Elaine waited, legs crossed, trying to look uninterested. She sipped the sparkling water, took a bite of one of the tiny tarts, listened to the faint rustle of silk from behind the changing room curtain. The manager stood nearby, folding a shawl with careful precision. He glanced at the closed-fitting room and smiled softly to himself, like watching an old friend. "She's always had a beautiful eye for design," he said, more to the air than to Elaine. Elaine glanced at him. "Excuse me?" "Miss Jade," he clarified. Ever since she was a little girl, she knew exactly what she liked. Never afraid to reach for the best. Elaine stiffened. "She shopped here as a child?" "Oh yes," the manager said fondly. "Her family's been with us for years. We've watched her grow, from little Miss picking out silk bows to the woman you see today." Elaine blinked. "Her family?" He tilted his head. "The Hollisters. They own the Atria Hotel Group." Elaine's mouth opened slightly. She had heard the name. The Atria chain was luxury on a global scale, meticulously curated resorts in Paris, Cape Town, Santorini. Exclusive, private, expensive. "She's that Hollister?" The manager nodded, adjusting the placement of a clutch on a side table. "Her mother shops here often. Jade usually comes with her when she's back in the city. It's always a pleasure." Elaine didn't know what to say. She thought about her own assumptions, about Jade, about her background, about the idea that her son was footing a bill she couldn't afford. She thought of every comment she'd made that afternoon, every thinly veiled insult. And then Jade stepped out of the fitting room. The gown draped around her like it had been sewn from moonlight. Soft blush silk hugged her frame with the elegance of someone born to wear it. Her eyes met Elaine's, calm, clear, unreadable. Elaine couldn't speak. She looked at Jade and saw something she hadn't before, not just beauty or poise, but a quiet kind of power. The kind that didn't need to explain itself. "Is it too much?" Jade asked, adjusting the sleeve delicately. The question was genuine. Not prideful. Not pointed. Just a woman asking her future mother-in-law for an opinion, even after everything. Elaine swallowed hard. "It's lovely. You look beautiful." A pause. A moment of stillness. Jade smiled, just a little. "Thank you." And just like that, the balance between them shifted. Elaine was no longer sure who was the teacher, and who had just been taught. The final dress was folded with care. A small team of attendants packed each item in signature cream and gold garment bags, the boutique's logo glinting under the light. Jade had chosen 3 dresses, one for the ceremony, one for the reception, and one she simply said was for the quiet part of the evening. The final touch, though, was unexpected. "This," she said, gently holding up a soft dove-gray wrap dress, "would suit you, I think." Elaine looked up. "Me?" Jade offered a small, kind smile. "For the wedding. If you don't already have something picked out." Elaine hesitated. Her instinct was to decline. Pride pushed up in her throat. But something in Jade's expression, calm, gracious, open, held her still. "I suppose I haven't decided yet," she said quietly. "Then let's keep it aside." Jade didn't insist. She simply turned to the manager and gave a nod. At the register, the total was mentioned without being said aloud. The staff were discreet like that. Jade reached into her handbag and pulled out a card, matte black, edged in silver. Elaine recognized it immediately. Not just any credit card, but that kind. The kind given to the kind of people who didn't need to ask about limits. The manager took it without blinking. "As always, thank you, Miss Hollister." Elaine felt the words like a hum in her chest. As they stepped outside, the boutique doors swinging open with a soft chime behind them, 2 staff members carried their bags to the waiting car. Elaine walked slowly. The city breeze picked at her coat. She paused just before the car door. "Jade." Jade turned. "Yes?" Elaine looked at her, really looked at her. Not as an assumption, not as a judgment. Just as a person. I want to apologize, she said, voice low. I didn't see you. I thought I did, but I didn't. And I said things I shouldn't have. Jade's face softened. She didn't rush the moment. It's all right, she said. People don't always know how to see past what they expect. I'm used to it. But I'm glad we are here now. Elaine gave a small, dry laugh. You're very gracious. Jade smiled. I've had practice. They stood there, not as enemies or strangers, but two women quietly agreeing to try again. Elaine touched the garment bag with her name on it. It's a beautiful dress. I thought it might be, Jade replied. You deserve to feel special too. Elaine didn't answer, but something in her chest cracked open, just a little. And as the car pulled away from the boutique, the city turning gold in the afternoon light, she realized that this wedding wasn't just about her son. It was about the kind of woman he'd chosen. And the kind of woman she might still become. Never judge people by appearances or assumptions. True worth often speaks in quiet confidence, not loud displays. Grace, humility, and kindness reveal more strength than pride ever can. And when we are willing to see others fully, we often discover who we truly are. If you enjoy this story, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, who knows what story we will uncover next.